You're listening to the Magnetic Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Calandra Martin, intuitive brand designer for spiritual entrepreneurs. The Magnetic Boss Podcast is where visionaries come together to openly share wisdom and authentic conversations. I know that you are ready to leave your legacy in the world and become sought out in your industry. I also know that you are sick and tired of getting overlooked. You're ready to have a magnetic business. I'm here to help you create your magnetic brand. It's my mission to help you show up confidently with a professional, irresistible online presence. If you're in this for the long game and all in on the big vision you have for your business, let's dive in. Welcome back to the Magnetic Boss Podcast. Today is a special throwback episode because I really want your eyes on this woman. I want you to soak up her magic, and I really encourage you to be taking some time as we are entering into March to be thinking about your calendar and really understanding how important it is to have clarity around your calendar, around your schedule, and the way that you show up day in and day out in your business and your personal life. Because honestly, without doing this work, without really making sure that I am being intentional with my time, I know that I, for one, am all over the place. I am a hot mess express, especially being a manifesting generator and somebody who is constantly coming up with new ideas and new things. I have to make sure that I'm on top of this. So I wanted to share today a repeat episode with you where I interview Lisa Presley, the Productivity Pixie. She is incredible, one of my favorite humans on the planet, and this is a conversation that is worth listening to twice. Another note that I want to make sure you're aware of is that Lisa is coming into the Magnetic Boss membership in March, and you're going to have access to all of her expertise, her wisdom, and some exclusive trainings that she is sharing just inside the membership. So if you are not already an active member, you can go to calandramartin.com/membership. The doors are open until the end of February, which will get you access to Lisa in March. So if you're loving this conversation, if you are needing more support around your calendar, around scheduling, and you want some hand-holding, some extra guidance and accountability with this, then make sure that you are inside the membership in March. Okay? So that is all from me. I hope you enjoy this episode. If you do, take a screenshot, tag Lisa and I on Instagram, on Facebook, and share it with a friend. Okay, see you soon. Welcome back to the Magnetic Boss Podcast. Today I am joined by one of my favorite humans on the planet, Lisa Presley. Lisa is your Productivity Pixie. She teaches online business owners how to swoon over the details of their businesses. Lisa collaborates with you to manifest the next level of your biz magic using her dark goddess skills of structure and organizational practices to support you in untangling your emotional and habitual resistance to success and expansion. She successfully lives a balanced life where she is able to passionately serve her clients, go on adventures with her friends and family, and be present in raising her rambunctious son. Welcome, Lisa. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. I'd love to have you start out by telling us a little bit about you and how you got to where you are and what you do now.
Well, thanks for having me, Calandra. I just love you so much. So I'm just so excited to be here today. Well, I'm obviously Lisa, and I'm the Productivity Pixie in my business life. And I was actually a massage therapist for 14 years before I entered the business world. And I had a friend that I didn't even know the business world existed, the online business world. And I had a friend that was in it, and she introduced me to it. And luckily, I got clients right away without knowing what I was doing. And I trained, and I've just been really dedicated to growing my business in a way that really lights me up and is aligned. And so now I am here today as the Productivity Pixie. And I'm really, what my business boils down to is I'm addicted to helping people support their dreams come into reality. I just live for it. I love it. And one big way I do that is through teaching business owners to swoon over the details of their business. And Calandra knows all about this. She did my wonderful website for me. And so I teach them to swoon over the details by really taking a look at all their processes. So like, how does their marketing lead into the potential client, lead into the program, lead into offboarding, and really get those detailed out. So then they're able to provide high quality consistency for their clients. And it leaves them space to really dedicate to the areas that they love about their business. So that is what I do and what I love.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And I think, first of all, the Productivity Pixie title is so perfect for you because you just have this energy about you that I adore. And I think that what's really, really remarkable about the structure that you provide clients is it gives them that peace of mind. And I think that's something a lot of entrepreneurs fall into, especially solo entrepreneurs, and even more so entrepreneurs just getting started, can easily fall into the trap of overwhelm, of trying to do all of the things. And then for me, from experience, skipping steps and overlooking processes. So I think that you are able to support people and really bringing it back to having this flow so that there's that sense of ease and so that people know what to expect on a day-to-day in their business.
Yeah, exactly. And I got to give a shout out to my friend Tabitha Jester. She gifted me the name Productivity Pixie. And I also love it because also productivity means so many different things. To me, it doesn't just mean hustle and getting shit done, right? It means really listening to your body, and like productivity means doing what's right for you in each moment. So I like to kind of throw that out there too. But yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. Like even as a structure lady within my own business, I mean, it gets so clusterfuckery so quick in your own business. I mean, there's just no way to avoid that. Totally. And so when you start, it's like when you start feeling chaotic, that's when I'm needed. Because then, it's just like planned out and it just runs so smoothly. And then you can like focus on growing your empire. Cause I feel like that's what we're all like after, is the growth. Like we love the growth part of it. Right. And we have to make sure that foundation is tight. So then the growth on top of it is really substantial.
Yeah, I think that it's really important because, entrepreneurs, we're go-getters. We are really committed to that bigger vision, really in alignment with our purpose. And we can so easily just have our foot on the gas pedal all of the time. But without that structure and without knowing, what comes next in each detail of everything that we do, we reach kind of this burnout, this overwhelm. Have you experienced that yourself and with your clients, and what does that generally look like?
Oh, what a great question. Yeah, I mean, I definitely experience it. I'm a projector in human design, so like we have like limited energy, so we're really susceptible to burnout. And I used to think something was always wrong with me. Why don't I have more energy like everybody else around me? Until I learned about human design, I was like, oh, this is normal. So I've had to learn how to incorporate a lot of rest in my schedule, which, still pisses me off. Like I just want to be superhuman, but I'm not. And so I have to honor it. But yeah, so I think I burned out like hardcore. Like I left my baby daddy. I'm a single mom. Like, and around those years, when I started my business, like I severely burned out. And it just like tired, no energy, can't hardly function, feelings. And now I'm much more aware of like when that's coming on. But it's something I do have to be constantly aware of. And yeah, I see it all the time with clients too. It's just like they lose their spark, like, and really it's because they're handling so many of the little details in their business, and you don't have energy every single day to handle all the details. So that's when you feel that shine starting to fade. That's my I see that in clients and I'm like, oh, we need to, let's reorganize here and like really get your energy focused on what's high priority and then, work from there.
Yeah, I think that that's so important for sustainability. I find myself talking about this a lot with other entrepreneurs, but at the end of the day, if we want to be able to be in our creative process and show up for our purpose and our mission and support other people, we have to have these foundational pieces in place, and that starts with getting support. I know that something that you love to talk about is calendar clarity and getting your day-to-day in your workspace really feeling high vibe and having that support. So can you tell us what that looks like and how you work with clients in that way?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for asking. This is my current favorite jam. I'm just totally digging it. And why I love it so much is that it's not only about your calendar, it's like the depth that it brings. So I like to say on this, so I do a 90-minute calendar call where we do nitty gritty work. We're in your calendar actually working, but we also incorporate magic. So it's logistics and magic because with calendars, a lot of emotions come up. Like, why are you resistant or why are you too reliant on it? How are you self-sabotaging with your time? We all do it. What are your goals? So so much goes into, it's not just time blocking, so much depth goes into the calendar. And that's why I really love it, because I can mix the emotional side with the actual practical recommendations to create a dream week for you.
Yeah, I think that it's so important. And I know that this is something that you work with people on is, raising that self-awareness, being able to identify how your relationship with your calendar and the structure of your business looks and feels. Because I think a lot of times we see the way that other people are doing things, or we see the shiny goal, the big vision, and we think we have to do something in one way, when we're all so different. Like you said, you're a projector, so you need more time and space to be able to rest and slow down. I, on the other hand, am a Manny Jen, so I am going 24/7, and that's what lights me up. So I think that it's so powerful to be able to have that awareness around not just, are you time blocking efficiently, but how does that translate into the day-to-day of your business?
Yes, exactly. That's how you work so quick, man. If you've worked with Calandra, she fucking is on it.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
I'm like, how do you get that done so fast? No, your secret weapon.
Yes, it's all in the design.
I love it. But yeah, that's why I love the calendar clarity stuff, because it's really customizable to the person. Because I'm not trying to help build a calendar that is not going to work for you. I want you to use what we are working on. So it really takes you personally and what your goals are and what you want your week to look like, what all you got to do, and then getting it in there and a really, like you said, high vibe way that honors you.
Yeah, and this brings up something that I also see happen a lot for entrepreneurs is this battle with boundaries. And I know that this is something that comes up in scheduling your time and scheduling things into your calendar. So can you speak to that as far as what you see pop up when it comes to boundaries?
Oh, yeah. What a great question. I'm so glad you brought this up, because this is something I struggle with as well, which is why I have accountability built in all around me. Always. Okay. So boundaries. So first, for me, how I equate the calendar and your time is really building a relationship with it. You need to swoon it. You got to wine and dine it. You got to spend time with it, and not just angry time, oh fuck, I gotta go look at my calendar, but go dance, do something you really love, and then look at your calendar, because your calendar is what provides your life. So you want to love it, and once you can start consistently putting time into it, it's crazy. It is mind-blowing, because then it becomes this thing that you created, so you can trust it. You learn, it's such a tool in self-love and self-trust. That's probably my most favorite thing I've learned about doing calendar work, is that it really is a tool for self-trust and self-love. But really the whole boundary thing is really trial and error. It is so hard. Everyone struggles with it. I fucking struggle with it. So I would say be really realistic with your time. If you have a meeting that's an hour, let's do an hour and 20 minutes, just so you start to get a really realistic time frame. And then, like I said, with the whole boundary thing, I think accountability is the way to go. Having an accountability partner, having a couple, whatever you got to do, so they can call you out, they can check in with you to see if you are holding true to those lines.
Yeah, I love that. I love the tip about giving yourself some buffer time in your calendar. For example, this podcast interview is a 30-minute interview, roughly, give or take. But I know that it's going to take Zoom at least 10 minutes to save the audio, and it's going to take me at least 10 minutes to get ready for the podcast. So I give myself that buffer room. Whereas I learned this the hard way in my business. I used to just be like, oh, 30-minute block. Yep, that's in there. And then 5 minutes after, I'll get on the next one. And that's not realistic for what works for me. And I think, like you said, it's trial and error and knowing what you can commit to, especially from an energetic standpoint of, are you going to leave yourself feeling completely exhausted and resentful of your business? Or are you going to create that space for you to really feel lit up by your business?
Yes, that's exactly it. Exactly. And I'm so proud of you, Calandra.
Hey, it's a work in progress. Like you said, accountability all of the way. I need at least 10 people following me around all day, every day, telling me to drink my water and stick to my boundaries. But
but you got it down to how it works for you, and that's what, with the calendar, it's like, it takes this big picture. So it's like, what do you want to feel like for this year? Or like, what do you want your business? And, business and life are so intermixed to me. So like how, yeah, I may want to feel a little different in my business than my life, but then there's an overarching theme of like, how do I just want to feel? Right. And then, you take that feeling. So I'm trying to feel balanced. So then you take that broad feeling and then you break it down into like, okay, well, what are my goals for, this year, this quarter, this month? And then you break it down even smaller. You just continue to break it down until you get that week where you're being realistic with your time frame, and it becomes a lifestyle, that you just lean into. But that takes time. Like I actually advise like going the opposite way. So starting with a week, because when you're just starting out with your calendar, if you're trying to think in quarters, it's like, oh, too overwhelming.
mm-hmm.
So I advise going a week at a time and then building up.
Yeah, I love that. It's almost the reverse of reverse engineering, because you have to
Right.
kind of meet yourself where you're at and be really realistic on what you can handle. Because again, we set these big audacious goals for ourselves, especially in our businesses, and then we hustle. And then we're like, oh, crap, I am exhausted, or I am, dropping balls here and there. And I think that that's something that shows up a lot for entrepreneurs, especially if they're not getting support in other areas of their businesses.
Oh yeah, totally. And I just got to say, you're making me feel so not alone. Cause often, I've got big dreams. I've got high standards for myself. I, expect the world from me and stuff. And so it's like, I have to take that natural tendency into consideration, but then I have to take my humanity of getting tired into consideration as well.
Yeah. I think that that's something really important to note for our listeners, is that yes, we're business owners. Yes, we're entrepreneurs, but we're also all having a human experience. And with the world that we live in right now, with COVID, with the uncertainty, so many people are homeschooling, there's all of these moving pieces. And a lot of the times we're always our own worst critic. We're the person that's going to get down on ourselves the most. If you didn't cross something off the to-do list, if you said no to a business meeting or a networking event or whatever it might be. And I think that the structure that you have with calendar clarity is allowing people to kind of remove that guilt and pressure and really create a schedule and a structure that feels good and feels in alignment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is my goal with working with people with their calendars. And I do provide accountability after a call. So I know how it is. So I try to, practice what I preach. And, and I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, well, that's okay, because I have a question for you.
Okay.
Speaking tangibly, for somebody that might be exploring their calendar for the first time, maybe they are just like a pen to paper kind of gal and they haven't really looked at something like adding structure. What are some of the tools that you use? I'm guessing Google Calendar is a big one, but how do you break it down into the structure if you were to go about it yourself in the very beginning?
Oh yeah, great. It's a great question. Yeah, and I mean, pen and paper. I can work with pen and paper or electronic calendar, but the thing is, I got to see it. So if somebody has a pen and paper, they got to send me pictures, and then I have to see them working on it. So I just need my eyes on it, whatever it is. And I personally do a mix. I'm like day to day Google Calendar, but like big visions, paper calendar. So
I do the same thing.
Yeah, like there's something about like holding a pen and writing. So my tips would be, first, if you're like for real just starting out, you need to start documenting how you're spending your days. So we need to get an accurate representation of what is going on in your life right now and how you're spending your days. Then while you're doing that, I want you to also think about like, how does this feel to me? How does this week feel? And we're just taking a week at the time. How does this week feel to me? If it feels shitty, then what would my dream week look like? And you don't have to answer these right away. Just like marinate on them and see what you feel. So just start documenting what you do each day. And then it would be, really starting to take a look at that, at your boundaries. Like you want to work this many hours a week. You want to have, this much time off. Like what personal items do you have going on? So yeah, my top tip is just like becoming aware of how you are actually for real spending your time every week or for 1 week, and then about how much time you're taking on everything.
Oh, you mean that I have to document the 3 hours that I spend scrolling on Instagram every day?
You can
I want
ballpark it.
everybody listening to call themselves out. What is the thing that you are wasting your time on? Let's be real.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, so for me, it's like, I mean, wasting time, well, we're like, like you can't see us, but like quote, wasting time. Right. But like, we all need that like time wasting, like just to decompress or whatever, but it's like doing it at the appropriate moments. Right. So for me, I kind of use it like a reward. So it's like, oh man, I just focused for 3 hours of work. I got so much done. Now I can binge on Facebook for 2 hours or whatever, so it's like, yeah, we want you to have your Instagram time because we know you're networking on there anyway, Calandra.
Yes. I mean, I totally do this. And I love that reframe of, it's not necessarily wasting time, it's you filling your cup back up. So for the Instagram example, for somebody listening, if they are feeling like they're scrolling on social media a lot of the time, great, use that as a tool to help you reframe and restructure your day. So I do this with my work week. I work 3 days on, 2 days off, plus the weekends. And I have learned through trial and error that instead of easing into my day and saving everything for the end of the day and procrastinating because I can work so quickly, I've learned that if I switch that around, I work in the mornings, bust out my work, and then take the rest of the day off, that actually feels better for me. But that was something that I had to experiment with and then learn what are the things that are filling the gaps throughout my day so that I'm not sitting behind my computer with, tunnel vision.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and this kind of touches on what we were talking about before. I feel like, we're all kind of, I don't know where it began, but like, with school or like the traditional jobs of like, this is the way you're supposed to work, right? Mm-hmm. And then you become your own business owner, and it's almost like too open because you can do it however the fuck you want. But you're kind of a little bit brainwashed that it should be this way, but then there's an ocean of possibilities, and it's a little bit hard to figure out what works for you. But like you said, it's just about that self-awareness. You do it one way and you're like, that doesn't feel good. That does not work for me. And then you're like, I'm going to flip it. And then it's like, whoa, it worked,
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest takeaway for those of you listening. I really hope that you're taking notes on this episode. Come back and listen to this. Make sure you go follow Lisa for all of the things. But that self-awareness of, what is feeling really good for you? And if it's not feeling really good, what do you want instead? I think that with anything in our business, that's a great framework, but especially when we're looking at structuring our businesses and making them work kind of for us so that we're not feeling like we're pushing water uphill, that's a really great starting place.
Yeah, 100% agree. It all begins with how you feel, how you think on certain things, and then you can create the game plan for moving forward.
Yes, I love that. I would love, Lisa, for you to share with us where everybody can find you, where they can get connected with you. And I know that a lot of people are going to be curious about calendar clarity. So where can people learn more about that?
Well, it's on my beautiful website that Calandra created. So like go check it out and book a call with me, but also just go check it out because Calandra made it and it's so beautiful.
I revisited it today for the first time and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good.
It is gorgeous. I love it. It's been such a game changer having a website. But the website is productivitypixie.com, and you'll see a work with me in the calendar clarity little drop down box, and then it's right there, and you can just book a call from there, pay and book, and then it's pretty easy to get going from there. And then also on Facebook, I operate under my personal profile. So I'm assuming if you're listening to this, you're cool. So you can friend request me.
You've been vetted. It's okay.
You've been invited.
Awesome. I will go ahead and link all of those things in the show notes. And I just want to thank you, Lisa, for coming on, sharing your wisdom with us, and encouraging everybody to take some time, take a pause, really think about the structures in your business. Are they working for you? Are they not? No guilt or shame there. And then how can you create an action plan, get accountability and support with that? Because it's a total game changer.
It really is. And I thank you so much for having me on here. I just love starting my week off, seeing you and talking about stuff I love. So I just had so much fun. And yeah, if anyone listening needs further help with this, it's always, to me, sometimes more powerful to be witnessed and supported on these types of journey, and even if you can't facilitate on your own. So if you need any help, I'm definitely here for you.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe wherever you are listening so you never miss a beat. For episode show notes, visit calandramartin.com/podcast. Your iTunes reviews and your sharing of the show helps us reach more magnetic bosses just like you. Until next time.